Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. This episode today is brought to you by no makeup because I have to go to a site tonight and I didn't really feel like putting any on because, yeah, I'm probably going to be getting a little bit dusty. This episode today is all about it's kind of part one of a two-episode series I want to do. First episode is all about coming out to your significant other, if you have one, your friends and family, um, yeah, just anyone that's really close to you. The second part, which will be a video later on in the week, if into the weekend, will be all about how to be a good ally. So let's get started, shall we? When I first came out to my significant other, it was pretty early on. It was probably a good year and a half before I even started to transition. Um, it wasn't that I came out as trans at that time, but we kind of started to experiment a little more with me dressing up as a woman in feminine attire around the house a little more. So this was with my girlfriend at the time, who then later became my wife, and at this point now we are separated. Um, if you want some more information on how that relationship developed, check out some of my earlier videos, specifically the trans relationships one. When we finally started to go to therapy, we basically said the word transgender, and she was with me at that meeting, and that was really tough at first, but she was excellent at. So this is my wife. She was excellent at supporting me through it, and yeah, it really kind of went from there. It wasn't too hard because for her, or sorry, it wasn't too hard for me to kind of discuss things with her early on because like she had been involved with the whole process from the very beginning, and we just kind of worked at it from there. As I say in one of my previous videos about the relationships, communication is always key, and that's true I think with anyone that you actually come out to. With regards to friends, the first person I told in December of 2017. It was pretty soon after I kind of started to transition, and I wasn't dressed at the time, but what I did was I was out with my wife and this friend, and we were at a restaurant, and basically when my wife went to go to the washroom at one point, it was just the two of us, and I decided to tell him right there. I kind of I kind of did a strategy I used actually for my parents too when I came out, and that is the following. So the strategy, and this is actually something I learned um, at a course I did for work. Funny enough, was challenging conversations made easy. If you've never taken anything like this before, I'll kind of give you the crash course. But I think it's if you are in a professional industry and you're looking into leadership, I think this is a great course to check out. There's usually variations of it. What I learned in the course and how I was able to apply this to my own personal life is that you want to make sure to um, start off a conversation with. So if you go into a conversation with someone and the intent is to tell them something very personal that you know will be tough for them to hear or tough for you to say. What you really want to start as is start small. It could be about anything. Just talk about like the weather or something that happened to you, or just kind of get the conversation started. And as the conversation progresses, each each point you want to try to like get closer and closer to the goal of your conversation. So I can't think of any specific examples, but you may just want to start talking about like gender expression or something like that, or like something you saw on TV. Kind of get them into the mood mindset that they're already starting to think about this kind of thing. Another tip when you're doing these kinds of discussions is you eventually want to just get to the point and make it. Um, it's a little like ripping off a band-aid at times. It kind of sucks and it's really tough, but you definitely just gotta do it at some point. And um, what I did with my friend and my parents was I kind of disclaimed to them ahead of time that, like, okay, I need to talk to you. This is something really personal. It is something that will likely change the way you see me, um, but it's something I need to get off my chest, and you need to know. Saying something like that ahead of time will actually kind of give them an indication of the type of conversation you're about to have, which may help them prepare a little more. Funny enough, I think when I told my parents, I'm pretty sure they said afterwards that they thought I was going to say my wife and I were pregnant or something like that. Um, they definitely didn't expect me to come out as trans. So when you finally kind of get to the point and say what you mean, you definitely be prepared for all sorts of reactions. There could be a negative, hostile reaction, which is entirely possible, but it may also be a little bit of a panic versus a genuine reaction to it. They may just not know how to react, and in doing so, kind of come up with a bit of a pushback, almost like a denial and like a bargaining situation where it's like, how could this be? Like you've always been X and now you're Y. So just try to remain calm. When you first hear their reaction, um, you do have to kind of just go with it for a little bit. So when I first told my parents, there was kind of just silence at first, I think, and after about maybe like 15 to 20 seconds, I'm pretty sure my dad said he just kind of started asking a little bit of clarification questions, like so you're trans. That means you identify as a woman or something like that. So I was like, yes, like that kind of got the conversation flowing again. And if they don't say anything like that to follow up, it's okay to actually continue to talk about it. Just kind of try to gauge the emotion. If it's a little tough for them to handle, don't don't push the issue. You've at least got your point out there that you said what you came there to say, and if they really need a moment to process the information, I think you should definitely give them that because it's a tough thing to hear in this day and age. Even still, like it's in the news and stuff, but don't always expect to hear it for their own world, and when they do, it can be a very big shock. So don't be don't be afraid of experiencing that, and don't be shocked in return that you actually get that reaction because it may happen. The important thing I think to remember is obviously stay calm, but stand your ground. You know who you are. If their reaction is a little bit negative and that they're confused or they don't know what you mean or they kind of treat it as like in denial and that they say no, like you can't be. You just like stand your ground. You know who you are, and you just have to repeat, like, no, I am transgender, or and this works for all sorts of things. Like you could be coming out as bisexual, or gay, or pansexual, or other gender types, like not gender non-conforming, pangender, bigender, uh, um, non-binary, all sorts, right? So this is kind of, I think, applicable to all of those. So this isn't just directed at male to female transgender. Stand your ground, remain calm, give them some space. If they ask for it, you honestly may get a reaction where they literally want to just hang up. And I know that will suck if it does happen, but it's only fair that it might just be their initial reaction and try to give them a little bit of space, maybe for like a day or two. Um, then check back in with them and just say like the next one will kind of be a similar conversation at that point because you kind of left it open ended, but definitely keep on top of them. Um, They need to understand. They need to respect you for who you are, and that is perfectly valid. Do not ever think that you are not valid because your parents or your friends or your significant other or anyone around you thinks that you aren't who you say you are, or that they don't want you to be, because you are. You are worth so much in this world, and you deserve happiness. You deserve to be who you are and who you're comfortable being. So know that I will always support you on this channel. Um, and like if I ever do run into you in real life, we'll definitely have to catch up. I guess one last thing to say about this: confidence is a big thing. Try not to push this discussion, this announcement, sooner than you really feel comfortable doing it. I wasn't fully comfortable when I told my friend or my parents, but I did it because I knew I needed to do it, and I knew I wanted to do it. I had to push past that initial fear. Um, but if you're very nervous and to the point where you're having like a panic attack for it, definitely think about it for a sec, because maybe it's not the right time. And I want it to be, it should be a moment of real confidence and like a way to increase your self-esteem and show that you can do it. Um, I guess you could also bring like a friend along. My wife actually at the time when I told my parents, she was like, she's like, well, I can be on the call with you if you want. And I said I actually declined that offer as much as it was genuine and really appreciated. I just said no, like this is something that I want to do on my own. It's very personal, um, and I showed myself that I could do it, and you can too. But again, like if you need a friend, someone who you've confided in the past, by all means ask them. They even just like standing off to the side if you're on a phone call or Skype or something like that. Um, they could be holding your hand or something, or just standing across the room smiling, like anything to kind of give you that confidence push. Be safe out there. Um, some reactions can be very negative, and if you have any indication that that might happen, physical abuse, verbal abuse, my suggestion would be to try to do it where they aren't in the room with you, and something where maybe they're on Skype with you, and worst case scenario, if they're treating it really badly or they start to get aggressive and angry at you, you can always hang up. Whereas if you're in the same room with them and you think that could be a possibility, um, it's a little more risky, and I want you to stay safe out there, because like yeah, like why wouldn't I? Because you guys are awesome, and I really appreciate everyone watching this. Anyways, that's my tips and suggestions on what helped me when I came out to a bunch of people. Um, Remember that you are valid in who you say you are. Never forget that. Stand your ground. You know yourself better than anyone ever could, and try to enjoy that moment, and could be a real confidence boost for you. I know it was for me. It kind of kept the ball rolling in my transition, and knowing that like people have my back, and I really hope that happens for you too, because it can be a big help. And if your parents don't have your back, or your friends don't have your back, um, definitely like you don't need that, and talk about that with the people who have your back and support you and respect you, because you need that positivity. It's really important in this world. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button at the bottom, and make sure to click that bell if you want notifications on when I post new videos. Like I said, the next one I'll be doing is how to be a good ally. So you can easily show that video to people who you've come out to if they're having trouble with knowing kind of how to deal with all this news. So, anyways, I'll talk to you later. Okay, thanks. Bye.